Yellow everyone, and welcome back to this week's video. So this week we're actually going to send what I'm gonna do. We're gonna send it to another YouTuber. Her name is Moriah Elizabeth. Some of you might know her. She's pretty popular, I think, on YouTube, and I love her work. I've been following her for about 3 years. In the 3 years that I've been following her, I never sent her anything. But I did want to send her maybe something, a squishy or just something. And I really like her character, the Donut Princess. And I thought I could maybe do it as a doll, because the doll on my channel have been going so well. And I think doing this would probably give me the stress to make it look better than what I usually do. So if I send her something, maybe it will appear in one of her video, and I'm kind of stressed about that, so I'm gonna try to make it look good. But we're gonna start with this doll. So it's the same doll, about the same doll that I used as my last video for the doll. The only thing is this one is a little bit broken, but I only had like two choices. It was this one or this one. One of the reason I'm choosing the Anna and Elsa doll again, because I did buy some other brand, is because of the smile. Okay, when you look at them, they have like this little smirk, and the design she made for the Donut Princess has this little smirk. And why I'm choosing Elsa and not Anna is because of the skin color. Like, Anna has a beigey color and Elsa has a pinkish color. I don't know if you can see it. And I think Elsa is closer to the original squishy, so I'm gonna try to make it with this doll. So let's go. So like every other doll, I'm gonna start with prepping the surface. That means getting rid of the factory paint, but also creating a monster in the process. But yeah, now that I've prepped enough of the surface, I can start painting. For her lips, I'm doing two different colors like the original design, so lighter on the bottom and darker on the top lips. You can also see I didn't get rid of the lipstick, because since I'm using paint, it doesn't really matter. And since I'm not using acetone and just nail polish remover, it takes me a really long time to just do the eyes, so I don't bother with the lips. Anyway, when you look at Moriah's Donut Queen, her lips are really similar, so I'll just reuse the same outline. I then follow with the eyes. This was kind of tricky because her eyes are nothing like normal doll will have, so I had to make them real in a way. The major issue was in her design she didn't have some white for the sclero, so I didn't have a choice to create my own view of the eye. So I did a normal shape eye I would normally draw, maybe just a little bit more straight line than rounded, and really exaggerated her eyes in the big oval shape like she did. I did the eye shape in black and not brown just because I thought it would be more natural that way, but I've kept the brown for the eye color and the eyebrow. This was really successful because I didn't want to do like a mother or a cousin of the Donut Queen. I wanted to do the Donut Queen. So I had to find a way to do her facial feature as close as the real thing as possible. And changing some color and adding some were a real gamble. For the same reason, I'm also not gonna put some fake eyelashes. I didn't draw them perfectly, but her eyelashes were like one line, so I don't think she can complain on mine. I did finish them off camera to be sure I got them like I wanted it to be, and finish the eyebrow at the same time. The last thing for the eye were the eye shine, and that would really sell it for me. So now last step on the face, the blush. I didn't really know how I was going to do that because a doll is not a canvas. I cannot just hope it does a good blend, so I kind of have to dab a little and let it dry and add some more if needed. It's not a perfect science, but since I didn't know if my idea was gonna work, I'm happy that my knowledge of art is enough and I didn't pass 4 days on trying to figure this simple thing out. Now, before the next part, I'm just gonna seal her with some spray just because next step is the hair, so I don't want to miss everything I did to the face. So for the hair, I'm starting with cutting the little elastic she came with to liberate her hair and assess the problem I'm going to face, and the first one is the shiny strands. Donut Queen doesn't have that, and since I don't want to do a full reroute just for that, I decided to just pluck them out one by one. I did most of it off camera because it just took so long. Just to show you guys, I did like the bang part and I already have this much. And now that I'm done, you can just imagine how much time it took me. There's just so much. So now that I'm done, I'm just gonna go separate the bang from the rest of the hair. Before starting with the fancy color, I just want to do initial water pour just to place the hair a little bit before starting. Then I'm just gonna go ahead and put everything into small ponytails. My thought process here was I have a lot of colors to do and I don't want her hair to be in my way. If I want to do each and every strand perfectly, I need to make it easier for me. And I actually use this trick when I dye my own hair, so I thought it would save me some time or at least help me a little. I'm also using Pashka pans, and like you can see, I'm covering everything to make sure I don't do any accident. Like I know I can do. I just don't know how the Pashka pans will react if it's not dry, if it can stain the plastic if I touch it. I'm just trying to not mess everything by putting all the chance on my side this way. For the part of the hair dyeing, it's super simple and I can go about it any way I want and I think it would work. But I do like going little section at a time, starting with the pink and going down. The big reason is I want a little bit more purple in the back than in the front. So when I do like all the pinks and all the purple and blah blah, I sometimes forget my pattern and just put too much of one color on a strand. I've also finished with the bangs that I'm finishing with a darker pink like the original. And now it's time to style this thing. I didn't really know what to do because the paint didn't go in the hair, it just is like sitting on top. So I could not use anything that I had to put in the hair because the color would have just blended into each other. My only other idea was to go with my sealant, which is not perfect because I can't really work it. But at this point, the hair is really giving me a hard time and it's starting to like stain my finger and the doll. So I just need to find a way to seal it. So please, please, please don't do what I'm doing. I'm really hardcore right now and spraying stuff inside on a dirty table, it's not a great idea. So after styling as much as I could, we can now move on to the dress. So I've bought a pattern that was a little bit too small, so I did have to tweak it a little bit. I didn't show you guys because it took me so much time and brain matter that you won't be able to understand my brain. I'm sure of that. I don't understand myself either. I'm also using a spandex for the dress to make sure I have more control if it's not the right size. I'm then finishing the seam with some fabric glue because I don't have the patience to sew everything by hand. And I mean, we're not gonna see this part anyway, so if I can save some time, please do. While the glue was drying, I jumped to the sleeve. Since they were the same color pink as the dark pink in the hair, I just used my Pashka pens instead of dyeing it. Since it's not real paint, I didn't think it would harden the fabric too much, even though it was a possibility. But since it was polyester, I knew that a normal dye would not bond to the fabric, so I didn't have a lot of easy choice. After letting everything dry for the night, I came back the next day and assembled all the pieces together. Some of it with the help of some editing magic. I did use Anna to help me a little from this point on because I didn't want to mess with Elsa and her hair. So for the sleeve, I kinda don't know how to do the hand opening, so I use her hand to know when to tie it so the hand can still pass through. Now, before putting everything back together, I wanted to finish the skirt and add the sprinkles. I'm not Moriah though, so I won't put the sprinkles on, but I can fake one. That was really weird, so I'll just put back the piece together, okay? Next thing on the agenda is gonna be the donuts. So I bought these donut eraser thinking it would be big enough, but seriously forget about it, it's really too tiny. So now I had to think about how to do it. It took me a couple of days to get my idea, but I was in Dollarama doing what one does in Dollarama, and I saw these. Everyone know what this is, even though we all don't know the name of it. But since it's malleable, I thought I would put them in the shape I want and then papier-mâché the shape to be able to paint on it. So that's why I was cutting all these Canadian Tire flyer to use for the papier-mâché. I'm starting with the donut that she's holding because it's gonna be a full donut, which I think is gonna be easier to do. If I'm not able to do this, I'm not sure I'll be able to do the one on the crown, so I'll start with this one. So with my fluffy stuff and some aluminum to stuff it, I created the donut until I was happy. And when I was happy, I took a deep breath and hope I don't mess it up from this point. With my mixture of Mod Podge and water, I'm doing what I'm doing, so adding paper there and there. I did it until I was okay with this shape and decided to stop even though it was not perfect. I could just not see all the imperfection and I knew for a fact there were a lot, so I thought it was a good idea to paint on them to see everything more clearly and add some papier-mâché if needed. I then painted this Rapunzel crown that I had because I thought it was the closest to the original crown and it was sturdy enough that it would probably hold the donut okay. I know Mariah said that the donut is growing out of her head, but seriously, if this thing is attached to her head all the time, I don't envy her. Her neck must hurt like hell. So now that this part is done, we can move on to the final painting. So after redoing the beigey color of the donut, I am adding the detail to each donut. So the purple and the white fondant. And when this coat is dry, I can go with the sprinkles and the little white drizzle. And we're kind of done now. We can put her all back into one piece. So putting on the dress and sew it without forgetting to glue the gold trim that she has. Then put the crown. And finish with the donut in her hand with the help of some Gorilla Glue. So that's it for the doll part. The project is not done though. Like I said, I'm going to send this to Moriah, so I need to make a box so I can send it to her. For this part, I think it's a little bit self-explanatory, so I think you've heard my voice enough. I'm just gonna let you look at my painting while listening to music. So on one side there's this Donut Queen logo that I invented, then Moriah's logo, then a chocolate drizzle with some sprinkles, cause you know Moriah, and then my logo to finish it off. We can now pack her up. And add the donut eraser, a letter with some stickers of a panda, because she cannot keep any squishy as a panda, and I kind of love that love-hate relationship she has. And there you go, we can now close it and send it on its way. Okay, so we're actually in the parking lot of my hometown mall. I have the box to send to Moriah. We're actually, I think, the 27 January 2024. So I don't know when I'm gonna post this video, but at least you guys know when I'm gonna send this. So yeah, let's go. I'm really shy, so I don't know how it's gonna end up being like, but yeah, you'll see how it goes. So I actually got caught, so I could not film anything that went inside of the Jean Coutu, so sorry about that. But that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed the video and see you next one. Bye!